something I often think about is all of the guitarists in the past and all of the people that have played the guitar. And I start to think, I'm part of that. And it's because of that that I have this connection with guitarists and luthiers. Jeff Elliott has been a friend to me, and that's something that I'm never gonna lose.
I have about 300 guitars with my name on it. I've made guitars for Julian Bream, very, very well-recognized classic guitarist. I mean, after Segovia, probably the most renowned. I made a 12-string classical for Leo Kottke, and I've made a couple for jazz guitarist Earl Klugh. Here in Portland, I've built for Ralph Towner from the band Oregon. Paul Chasman has a classical of mine. Composer Brian Johansson, who plays with the Oregon Guitar Quartet, has a few. And Scott Kreitzer, classical guitarist.
I lived here in Portland, so I knew about Jeff. And I didn't want to get a guitar from Jeff just because he's my friend. And then he started making these guitars with the African blackwood. That's a different sort of sounding guitar. And then he said, "Bud, I've got this wood that I'm saving for Julian Bream. If you're interested, then we can move forward with that wood." He took me down to his shop, and here's Julian Bream's woods.
Okay, this is the wood room, the vault, I call it. It's where the future is, all my guitar woods. And these are all seasoned at least 10 years before I use them, most of them much longer than that. I've been building for 53 now. And some of the wood I got during my apprenticeship, so it's older than my apprenticeship. This is Spanish cedar for neck stock. And up here we have Brazilian rosewood, African blackwood rosewood, some koa, mahogany, cocobolo. This is East Indian rosewood. That's all for back and sides materials. And this is where the tops are. This different spruces, Engelmann spruce, Sitka spruce, and European spruce. These are 3 of the tops that remain from the original batch that I bought in 1970 from Europe. They're German spruce tops, and they're the batch that I used for both Julian Bream's guitar, which was in 1985, and then Scott Kreitzer's guitar, which was in 1989.
And he taught me how to tap the wood and get the different sounds. So this wood will produce a bass sound. It's all in the European spruce vein, which I like. This will produce a trebly sound, and this will produce what I like is a wide range of color.
I knew kind of what sound I wanted because I'd been playing Brian Johansson's guitar for a while.
And if I hold them different ways, I can get different responses. I get the bright, high treble notes.
Jeff picked up these woods and he knocked on this one. I listened, it was okay. But when he knocked on this one, it was almost deafening.
And these are the full depth bass tones.
The sound was so like robust. I was like, that's the sound I want my guitar to have.
I always liked the sound of the guitar. I got an inexpensive classical guitar, because these are nylon string instruments, not steel string. That was the sound that I liked. And taught myself some chords. After several years, I became aware that the best guitars were handmade classical guitars. And we were very lucky that there was one hand maker, Richard Schneider, and his place was called Estudio de la Guitarra in Detroit, Michigan, where I was living at the time. The first guitar I made with Richard was a classic guitar, which I still have. It's sort of a tradition that you keep your first guitar. The guitar I'm working on currently is a Western red cedar top. The cedar grew out here. In fact, it was salvaged from one of the Tillamook fires. I start by joining the back halves and the top halves and bending the sides, which are all book-matched pieces. It has one of the non-mosaic rosettes in it. This is spalted western bigleaf flame maple. Mother Nature has been really good to us. It's decaying wood, but it can be used ornamentally if you catch it early enough. They'll sometimes comprise up to a dozen pieces to make one rosette, but I want it to look like it was one piece that just happened. And choose a neck stock. This is a neck right here, which is ready for assembly now, and it has matching veneers on the front and back that match the back and the sides on the guitar. Pretty good. Right there's a spot. And this is my head design. Most makers have their own head design. That's one of their signatures. That and the rosette, in addition to their label. You know, some people ask me what my favorite tools are, and I have a lot of really nice ones that I do favor. There's some of them back here. But my favorite tool is natural daylight. The sunlight is so telling. It just reveals everything. It's all clear, and the colors are absolutely natural.
Ever since Jeff and I met, I started doing the finish on his guitars. Wood is an incredible material, and to bring out the beauty of the wood, it needs finish. And French polish is the most beautiful finish there is. This is my muñeca, which is Spanish word for doll. The inside is a piece of wool, and the outer part is 2 layers of cotton. It's always a delicate balance of how much finish is in the pad and how much of it I'm trying to get out of it as I go without it sticking. I'm going to put around 200 coats on here.
She is one of the world's best finishers. A lot of people don't have the patience for it because it really requires giving over to the process and how long it wants to take any given day. It really makes my instruments look beautiful and sound as good as they can sound.
I'm really happy that I found this guitar, and I'm really happy that I can say that I'm not compromising in any way. Their guitars exude quality of construction and quality of sound. And then there's this, is, you know, another beautiful little sort of identifying mark of Jeff's guitars.
The reason I think that Jeff's guitars are so special is because this is my guitar. My guitar. This was built for me. And that's extremely special, to know that this was made for me. There's a saying in the guitar world that every guitarist changes the guitar, and every guitar changes the guitarist.